Alright guys, so the ramp we're going to be making today is basically an A-frame. It can be a bump to bump, a bump to butter, bank to bank, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be these two banks, and then I'm going to put some objects on the side to make it basically a pyramid. I'll have a rail and a ledge, or you can make a bump to butter like the OC Ramps bump to butter. You can see in the model I made here, I have all the measurements, how many studs I'll need. It's going to be 1 foot tall, 4 feet wide, and 8 feet long. And then the bump to butter is about 10 inches above the bank ramp. Alright, so first for the tools you'll need, you need some screws. You're going to need about 30 2 to 3 inch screws, and then maybe 20 or 30 smaller screws about 1 inch. You need measuring tape, a drill, and some kind of saw. I have a skill saw. You can use a jigsaw or a hand saw, whatever you want. And for materials you'll need about 5 or 6, I'll probably go with 6 of these 2x4s. They're about 3 inches that way and 1.5 inch that way, and 8 feet long. You'll cut each one in half, and that's only if you're going by the dimensions I'm going. Everything can be changed, height, width, anything you want. So if you change it up, you might need a different amount. And then you'll need a sheet of about 3/4 of an inch thick or thicker plywood. If you buy it from the Home Depot, it'll be 4 by 8 feet, so you can cut that up. But the one I'm using is 1 inch thick, and it's 1 foot tall. That's all you need, and then 8 feet wide. I'm using a lot of scrap wood. I'm actually making this ramp for free. I was able to get all the supplies out of my backyard and out in the desert and stuff. So for me, it's not going to cost anything. But if you're making it by yourself, buying everything from the Home Depot and everything, it's probably going to be about $60 or $70. I'm not exactly sure, but you'll know depending on how much wood costs near you. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go on both of the sides and mark out 1 foot high. Now, all these plans can be changed, but this is how I'm doing it, so if you want to follow exactly, then mark 1 foot high over here and on the other side over there, and then get something straight and mark the line. And then you're going to want to come halfway in between and mark it right there, and then on the line draw a straight line, and that'll divide these two little squares. And then from the squares you just draw a line from corner to corner, and then that'll be 2 sides for bank ramp, or 1 bank ramp, and then that'll be another 2 sides. So you can see I've already cut that right there. Some of it, I stopped right there. So I'm going to finish cutting till the end, and then I'm going to cut the rest out. Alright, so quickly, something you want to know about studs is they are 3 inches this way, and then 1.5 inches that way. So what I did on here is I went to where 1.5 inches is, because that's the smallest point where a stud will fit, and that one's going to be sideways. So I marked right there, and then 3 inches later right there. So that's where one stud's going to go, and I did that on all 4 of these sides. Then from that last mark, I moved up 8 inches to right there, and now the studs are going to go sideways. So after that 8 inches, you move 1.5 inches up for the next mark, and then from that point 8 inches, until at the end I made them sideways again. So the last mark is 3 inches from the top. So now we're going to cut the studs. Alright, so now for marking the studs. I have all these studs, I already marked them, but if you were to mark them, you're just going to start at the end like that, come over, and you want, my ramp's going to be 4 feet wide, so however wide your ramp is going to be, then take that and then subtract the size of 2 of those sides. So what I mean is these sides right here, if you measure across 2 of them, take whatever that is, and then subtract that from the 4 feet. So since mine are each an inch, then they'll be 2 inches wide. So I come to 4 feet and I go 2 inches down, and that's at 3 feet 10 inches. So that's where my mark is. You can do that on both sides, and then draw the line. And if you have an 8-foot wide stud, then you'll be able to get 2 out of each. So do the same thing from the other side, and make another mark, and then I drew that X right there, so that I know that I don't need that piece is just trash. So I got all these studs marked, and I'm going to cut them. Alright, so then you just screw them in on the sides. You want to use 2 screws for each stud on each side. So for this one, it ended up being 20 screws per bank ramp, and there's 2. You want to use about 2 to 3 inch screws, because this is already an inch, so you need another inch or 2 to keep that in place. And then now we're going to get our plywood, which is 8 feet long, and we're going to cut it into 2 4-foot sheets and screw 1 piece on each one. Alright, so then you just screw these sheets in on top of the ramp. What I like to do is get a piece of wood and line it up where those screws are, so you know that's where one end of the stud is, and that's where the other end of the stud is. And then you can run the screws across there, however many you want to put. If you're doing like a sheet of plywood and then a sheet of masonite, you don't have to put that much on the plywood, because everything that goes through the masonite will go through the plywood too. But we're only doing plywood, so we're going to put like 4 in every stud or something like that. Alright, so then once you get the top sheet screwed on, too much of a gap from the concrete to the wood, I put the masonite, but you can see it's breaking, so I'm going to order some sheet metal. If you're going to do that, you want to get it steel plate that's about 3/16 of an inch thick. And then you can choose, I'm going to do about 6 feet long, and then you're going to need it 4 feet wide if you're going to cover the whole thing. You can see I have it gapped out right now. They're 2 different pieces, so you can pull them apart or push them together however you want to. But what I did there is I took this box that I made and put it on the right. So this is kind of like a hubba. And then this Fresh Park rail I have. And you can get this on the Fresh Park website, freshpark.com. It's pretty cheap. It's only like $100. But I bought it used from someone else. Since it's adjustable, I raised the front end and then left the back end down. But yeah, so you can gap it out or put them together. And yeah, it's been really fun. I was skating a lot recently. If you wanted to make it like a bump to butter, like the one on the OC Ramps website, they sell a part like this. Not like this, but it's like a rail, but it's some kind of plastic surface, and they sell that on the CA Ramps website. That's CaliforniaRampWorks.com. You could build it home, and then it's under accessories and rails, and you can order 2 of those, and then put one over there and one right there, and pretty much be the same result. But I don't have money to buy those, so I just put these. So all I did was cut out this side part right there, so you can put your hand in there and pick it up. And then screw these wheels on. They're casters from IKEA. And that way you can pick it up, roll it on, put it onto a side, and then roll it around. And since they're two different pieces, I also screwed that in right there. So when you want to pull them apart to skate them like a gap, you can just unscrew 2 screws on each side and then pull them apart. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys are trying to make this, good luck. It's not that hard, but if you need any help, leave a comment, tell me what's going wrong, and here's some clips on this for you guys.
Every day on the block, he knows how to work with boogies, not making his way to the top. He don't think it's a comment on his name. People keep asking him, was it given that brother doesn't stand for an acronym? No, he's living proof. Let him rock in the booth. Get you buzzing quicker than a shot of vodka with juice.